Hey everybody, it is December 10th, 2018. I just want to give you guys an update on Bitcoin, the crypto markets, and the CQF model. Today was another bloody Monday when the market's down a bit, basically retracing what we gained yesterday. So we're back to square one. However, I am cautiously optimistic. There's some signs that we might be bottoming. But obviously the long-term trend is still, well, at least the medium-term trend is still pretty negative. I think long-term in years, which is still very positive. So keep that in mind. But since the medium-term trend is negative, especially if you're a trader, you want to be pretty cautious. If you're a long-term investor, low 3,000 Bitcoin is always a pretty nice thing. So I want to go over the CQF model and what coins I'm looking at and liking right now. If you're in my Shrimpy portfolio, there's a handful of you. You can see these coins, what I'm owning and at what weight. There's a few like DCR, Decred is number one on my list. Yosaya Coin, VeChain, Pundi, these are all coins that I own right now. Nano, ARK, also own those. Just bought ARK today. Lisk as well, I've owned that for a while. And I've decided to jump into like Streamer, Datacoin, see what happens with that. Icon as well. PIVX, I own that as well. So a bunch of coins in the top 10%. Pretty excited about that. So if you want to follow me, you'll see what I'm doing on Shrimpy. My username is BTFD2018. Go right ahead. Remember the goal of that portfolio is to beat the market. So when the market's down a lot, if the market's down 50%, hopefully I'm down 40 or 30%, something like that. If the market's up, 10,000%, hopefully I'm up, 20,000%. So I'm always going to be tied to the market, but I want to beat it in all market environments. So speaking of that, let me jump over here. I'm going to give you some idea of the performance of the CQF model. And there's a lot of people talking about paid groups and things like that, and the performance of such groups. A lot of it comes down to lack of transparency, lack of knowing what exactly the signal is and how it's actually performed. And obviously, everything is talked about in rose-colored glasses, and there just really isn't a decent trail. Obviously, this isn't like official, but at least I try to post my performance every single day. So you can see how the model's doing in good times and bad. At least I try to be as transparent as possible. So in terms of performance, what's actually good here is you see this green over here that I'm highlighting. This is the model beating the market on a daily basis. That is, looks like 11 straight days the model's beating the market. Now it's not beating by a lot every single day, but it's compounding and growing, which is exactly what I wanted to do. Decent wins consistently. So I'm very happy with the way the model is performing right now. In terms of the crypto markets, we were down 48% in November and down another 18% in December. So it's clearly a bloodbath, ton of selling, ton of people just sitting market sells. Call it capitulation, call it whatever you want. People are leaving the crypto market in spades. And so where do I stand now? Like I mentioned before, we're definitely in a medium-term downtrend with a lot of heavy selling and a lot of negative press, kind of go down the line. Some good things on the horizon in January, etc., like the ICE backed project. However, more importantly, I think you want to look at the volume here, and the volume is extremely high. So let me jump over the next tab. And I've shown you guys some of this before, but looking at volume versus value, and let me change this right here because this is really value. So most reported volume statistics are in dollars and not in Bitcoins traded or volume. So here I'm taking a look at that again. So you can hop on my spreadsheet and see how this is converted. But basically, I'm turning the value into number of Bitcoins traded. So in the top chart right here, I will blow this up for you real fast, guys. But this is the 3-day average volume traded. And you could see this big spike at the end. Basically what we're dealing with right now over the past few weeks, we're still at very elevated levels, bigger than the euphoria of December and January, early January. Now, this is kind of hard to see, so let's kind of zoom in. That's what this guy is right here. So same exact chart, just zoomed in. And what's very important to me is this heavy volume is still here. You know, looking at today, looking at the past few days, etc., that volume is still there. So we're seeing a heavy accumulation here, people buying. So if we didn't have this this buying power, these people wishing to fork over and buy some Bitcoins in the low 3,000s, you would not see this volume. It would be much lower. It would be closer to what we've seen almost all year, kind of in the same, you know, zone, etc. So now that this volume's higher, clearly a lot of Bitcoins are being traded and it's being accumulated. You know, you saw, if you followed my feed and a bunch of others, you probably saw a tweet from Grayscale showing their Bitcoin holdings growing. I'm not a big, the institutions are going to come save us. However, there's a couple of rules out there in finance and investing. Like one, I know you guys aren't Fed fans, but you don't fight the Fed. And kind of two, going along with that, you don't want to fight the banks and Wall Street. If they're pouring money into Bitcoin and crypto, they believe it for some reason. So you certainly do not want to fight it in the long run. And they're accumulating. So they certainly believe it, both from an investing standpoint and a infrastructure ecosystem piling hundreds of millions of dollars into exchanges, into different platforms. So they're certainly bullish. Maybe they're accumulating now at low prices. Maybe they even pushed the price down. Who knows? That's all speculation. But the point remains, they're certainly bullish over the long run. Now let's keep you guys on a volume here, value. So just basic coin market cap here, nothing spectacular, but I want to point out the value here. These basic charts down here, you can see this, the spike in the value traded here at the beginning of the downturn, or the new downturn, around 6,000, the middle of November through now. You can see clearly the value traded is substantially higher than what we were seeing months before. So that's another good sign. Whether they're going to value volume, there's certainly a spike to be seen. Expecting it to be, you know, similar to when we were at 20,000 is asinine. That's impossible, basically. So anyone saying volume is low because it's not what we were at 20,000, frankly, they don't really know what they're talking about. So I'll leave that at that. If we look at over the 7 days, it's still pretty high, but also you could see some of these spikes right when we jump up here and in the value traded. Clearly people are accumulating. See it again here, pretty minor, but it's still popping up. So people are accumulating. However, we're still very much in a downturn. You know, my advice here, not financial advice, friendly advice, you got to know your risk tolerance. That's very, very important. Your own financial situation, that's very, very important. You know, crypto should always be a very small portion of your asset allocation. So, you know, keep that in mind. And if you're trying to catch the bottom, it depends what your strategy is. You know, if you're a long-term holder and you're safe with the risk and, you know, believe in the space, you know, dollar cost averaging is probably getting to the point where it's pretty okay for most people. However, if you're really risk averse, you're scared of losing money, crypto is probably not for you, period. But those type of people are probably better off waiting until something like BACT actually comes online and you see a confirmed uptrend. You're going to miss out on a lot of gains in that case. However, you know, you're not going to have any heartburn. So it all depends on the person, and that's why it's very tricky when people talk about time to buy or time to sell, any of that. It's very dependent on your own financial situation. We all have different time horizons and different risk tolerances. Anyways, I just want to give that update. So just keep an eye on the volume and value being traded right now. If you see that come down, that would be a very, very bad sign for the crypto and Bitcoin markets. So that is what I'm really keeping an eye on. Also, the long-short ratio is very important right here, and the short ratio. So what you do not want to see if you're a bull, whether long-term, medium-term, short-term bull, is to see price consolidate low, but see the shorts come down and the long-short ratio come down. Because what that's going to do is give the shorts some more ammo to push the price down. That's exactly what happened in the 6,000s. In the 6,000s, we were very similar, high shorts, very low long-short ratio. Then we consolidated for a month and a half. Shorts covered. That long-short ratio went up. They got their ammo and they fired it and pushed us all the way down to the low 3,000s. So we do not want to see that again. So keep your eye on that as well. Everybody take care. I really appreciate you joining, and have a great week.